Today we commemorate the fathers of the Seventh Ecumenical Council. To illustrate what we owe to this council, I want to show you two things of enormous sentimental value to me. This is the last portrait that my parents took before my mother would pass away in 2006, and my father would follow her in 2009. This cross, this very cross, I took with me on my deployment to Iraq in 2004, on a base for 3 months and with no access to any church service. Every morning, I would kiss this cross and pray for God's protection. Now, what you have just seen me do to express affection to a departed loved one through an image, and to show worship to God through the image of the cross. These things are what we owe to the Seventh Ecumenical Council. And that you may better understand the icon and the figures on it, I will recount the history of this council. There had developed in the Eastern Church a heresy that believed that we should not have representations of anything in our church and in our worship. These people were called iconoclasts, Greek for breakers of icons. And they had grown in strength such that in the year 754, the emperor of Rome, the Eastern emperor in Constantinople, himself an iconoclast, he called a council, and that council ratified the belief that we should not have icons. Now, this council was called by those who disagreed with it the headless council, because there were no patriarchs there. The Patriarchate of Constantinople was vacant. The three Eastern patriarchs, Antioch, Jerusalem, and Alexandria, could not attend because their lands had fallen under Islam. The Bishop of Rome was not invited to that council because they knew he was for icons. When finally this emperor died, his wife, Irene, took over as regent before their teenage son would be old enough to reign himself. And she was in favor of the icons. She then called another council, but they couldn't hold it in Constantinople because the iconoclasts still had too much power there and they were afraid of violence. So, like-minded bishops and a new patriarch of Constantinople with representatives from Rome met in Nicaea, and there they ratified true Orthodox faith, and they affirmed the appropriateness of venerating saints and worshiping God through these images. We also can reflect that this story recounts a fracture in the church. For a period of time, Rome and Constantinople were not in communion because Constantinople had fallen into this heresy. And so may we this day keep in mind that there may be hope that Rome and Constantinople, again out of communion, can find a way to heal that schism. And today, let us celebrate the Empress Irene, who herself, through her efforts, was able to lead the church and then the Holy Fathers back into orthodoxy. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.